Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons class description, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Complete Warrior. And today's class is the Hexblade. So let's get into this. So we're going to talk about what the requirements for the class are, which, it's a regular class, so not a whole lot. We're going to also talk about some roleplay aspects, all that fun stuff. Then we're going to get into, all the various different class features that they get. And then we're going to talk about, how good is it, any potential builds it could be used for, stuff like that. So let's get into it. But first, subscribe if subscribe if you're interested in these videos, because we're doing one on every single one of these, so you don't want to miss out. Anyways, so the Hexblade, basically it's a really interesting class. So it's sort of a Gish build between arcane and melee prowess. It's definitely good on the melee side. The arcane side's a little weak, but it's not bad. I'd say its casting abilities pretty similar to like the Ranger or the Paladin. This class is actually very, very similar to a Paladin, although alignment-wise, very much not, since this class cannot be good. It has to be either evil or neutral. Has no preference for law or chaos, whatever works there, but has to be good. Not good. Evil or neutral. Cannot be good. It is just as likely to be neutral as it is evil, though. So it's not like a hard, fast rule that this class is evil. No, it's just, it's a very selfish class. These guys are, they're kind of in it for themselves, and they're really just about gaining as much wealth and all that as they can. They really don't care about others. They're not really big on that. So they're not good. I mean, some of them, the difference between an evil one and a neutral one would be whether they're willing to, take from others, or whether they're just, going to take what's theirs and not give a crap. That's kind of the difference on that one. So that they're not particularly religious. They tend to be similar to sorcerers in a lot of ways. They come from the same kinds of races. So it is sorcerer-esque in the same way that a paladin is cleric-esque. So, yeah. Let's see. Hexblades, they like other classes. They like certain other classes like rogues and barbarians, the kinds of guys that very much are in for themselves. They like similar-minded people. They really don't like paladins. We compare them to paladins a lot because they're similar, but they're like opposite personality-wise. They're kind of the opposite of a paladin in that regard. And the role that they're going to serve is going to be pretty similar to that of a paladin, weirdly enough. So let's get into, when you're going to be playing as one, you're going to want to be kind of selfish in it for yourself. Maybe you care about your party because those are your friends, but random guy in the street, like whatever, depending on whether you're evil or neutral. Like if you're neutral, you're just going to be like, you see some guy begging for help and you're going to just ignore him. If you're evil, you might laugh at him. Or, maybe you did something to, to cause him to be in that predicament. If you're neutral, you're not going to bother with that, but you're not going to help him either. Not unless, he looks like, he might pay well for that, for the help, you help him a little, maybe he'll grease your pockets a little. You could do that if you see a nice financial opportunity. Maybe the guy looks like he's rich, and he could compensate you well for it. And maybe looks like he'd be willing to. That's the kind of guy who'd be willing to do that. Be some stuck-up guy that probably wouldn't pay you for the assistance. Then you're probably gonna ignore him. you're just going to kind of gauge the situation, see how it feels. But yeah, you're going to be very selfish, very in it for yourself. It's going to be really all about, what can I get from this? So that's kind of going to be your motivations. Yeah, so let's now get into the stats and statistics, the nitty-gritty of this class. So let's talk about what they get. So they get a good base attack bonus, which is nice. They get a D10 hit dice, which is great. They're a really strong melee class. They get a good will save, but a bad fort and reflex save, which is weird, especially for a melee class. So it's a very weird save progression that they have. You'd expect a good fortitude save from them, in all honesty, but no, they don't get that. That's kind of one of the stranger things about them. They are going to get spells. Their spells per day don't show up until a later level. This is going to be charisma based. So basically the way they cast their spells is going to be very, very similar to that of a sorcerer. They are going to have a limited number of spells known, and they do not need to prepare their spells. But the progression is going to be very similar to that of a paladin or of a ranger, where they don't get any spells until the 4th level, and even then it's 0 of them, so they need to have a high charisma score in order to get bonus spells. By high, I mean 12. That's all you need for one bonus spell for one first level bonus spell. Not particularly high, and you'll definitely want to have at least 14. So they'll be getting bonus, so you can cast all your spells. Actually, I think 14. But that'll get you a second level bonus spell too. So that's good, because that'll be needed. Yeah, so you do get decent-ish spell casting. Your caster levels, like the paladin and like the ranger, is equal to half your character level, not your full character level. So you're only a half caster. So that's a bit of a downside. You're only going to get 4th level spells at best. Your spell list is actually decent though, so that's not bad. And 5 spells, and the number of spells known is actually pretty comparable to that of a sorcerer, which isn't great, but it's really comparable to that of a sorcerer who can only cast 4th level spells. So that's not bad. You can know up to 5 of each spell level. So you can know 5 first, 5 second, 5 third, 5 fourth, eventually by the time you reach 20th level. So not too terribly bad. That's really it for spells. Yeah, it's a weird mix between like a sorcerer and like a paladin in terms of spell casting. Now they also get a number of interesting class features. Some of them are really good, like the Hexblade. They also get weapon and armor proficiency, so they're going to get proficiency with all weapons, and as well they're also going to have light armor proficiency. They will not get medium or heavy. They're also not going to get shield proficiency, but they also do get to cast spells while using light armor. So light armor will not impact their arcane spell casting, which is kind of nice, and it does qualify them for the feat, which will allow them to do that in medium armor. And of course, if you make the armor mithril, then you can grab heavy mithril armor, which counts as medium, and then you can cast in that if you wanted to go that route. If you don't care about wearing really bulky armor, then you don't have to worry. But that is an option for them, similar to that of the bard. Yeah, their ability to cast in light armor is pretty much identical to that of the bard. So yeah, that's not bad. Now they have a Hexblade's curse, which can be really interesting. So basically, anyone that they can see that's within 60 feet of them, they can put a curse on, and then that person will have to make a will save, which the DC is equal to 10 plus half your class level plus your charisma score, which isn't bad. You can get that relatively high. That's pretty well in line with a lot of other saves for the most part. So pretty reasonable in all honesty. it's once per day, but you can eventually do it up to 5 times per day, which isn't bad. Um, uh, and the fact that you don't have to make an attack roll of any kind to actually hit them with it, they just get the will save. That's the only means of defending against it. That and just not being able to be seen, because that is a requirement. You have to see them, and they have to be within 60 feet. But yeah, as long as you can see them and they're within 60 feet, you can hit them with it. They'd make a will save. No spell resistance, no attack roll, no nothing. It's just the will save. And if they fail it, they're going to be taking some pretty nasty penalties. Initially, it's just a -2, but it's to basically everything. It's to attack, it's to damage, it's to like AC and skill checks and saves. It's like everything basically. Like it's to basically everything. And that's pretty nasty, especially since by 20th level, that'll go up to a -6. And just having a -6 to everything, including damage, is really, really bad. You can really mess some people up with that one. So their curse can be quite good. Let's see. They also gain arcane resistance, which is, again, I keep comparing them to the paladin, despite the fact that they are very not paladin-like in terms of their personality. But the way the class is designed is very similar. Arcane resistance lets them add their charisma to all their saves for the purposes of spells and spell-like abilities. So if somebody hits you with a spell and it gives you a save and it offers you a save, you can add your charisma to that save, which is really nice. It's one of the better abilities in the game. So yeah, that's really awesome to be able to do that. And of course that would, if you somehow had Paladin or Blackguard with this, then you could actually stack that. So that'd be kind of cool to be able to add potentially double or actually triple if you really cheese it, your charisma to your saves. So pretty nice. The next thing they get is one of the better things that they get. It's one of the best class features in the game, and it's one of the hardest to get class features in the game. And that is Metal, which is similar to Evasion, but it works with will saves and fortitude saves. So basically, it makes it so that you can get, if you pass a will save or a fortitude save, then you're fine. You take no damage, you take no additional effects. The spell just fails and doesn't affect you, which a lot of will and fortitude saves do have additional effects for those that save. If you have metal, then you don't have to worry about that, which is really nice. And it's a really hard class feature to get. This is one of very, very few classes and prestige classes that offer it. I think it's the only class in the game. And there are only a handful of prestige classes that offer it. So, yeah, this is one of the easiest ways to get it. It doesn't work if you're good, of course, but if you're a non-good character, 3-level dip in this to get that. Really, really nice. But, yeah, one of their best features, in all honesty. Now, at 4th level, when they start to be able to cast spells, they can also obtain a familiar. So that's kind of cool. It's pretty much identical to that of a sorcerer or wizard. I mean, I guess any sort of arcane caster can get it, like even a bard, but they have to take a feat. You don't have to take one. You just get it at 4th level when you first gain casting abilities. We already talked about their spells. Now, they also get access to bonus feats. So every 5 levels, they get a bonus feat. Their list is pretty limiting, though. Basically, you're going to be limited to combat casting, greater spell focus, but only with enchantment, necromancy, and transmutation, as well as greater spell penetration with those same schools. And spell penetration. And that's it. And yeah, you're pretty limited on that. Although spell penetration, I don't think is limited to those schools. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, the fact that you're limited to a very small list, that's unfortunate, but you get 4 bonus feats by 20th level. Not bad. Let's see. They also get Aura of Unluck, which isn't terrible. You can only use it at most 3 times per day by 20th level. and you know, it only lasts a number of rounds equal to your what is it, charisma plus I think it's your charisma modifier, a +3. Yeah, so not a terribly long amount of time, but should get you through most combats. And it's a free action, so you're not wasting any action economy doing it. And you know, 20% miss chance isn't bad. Saves you an item slot. Yeah, so not a terrible class feature. And that's mostly all they get, is that, which honestly isn't terrible. It's a pretty solid class all in all. So yeah, it's not bad. Is it the best class in the game? No, but it's not terrible. The Duskblade, to name one, kind of does a lot of the same stuff and kind of better in a lot of ways, but this isn't a bad class. And yeah, that Hexblade's Curse really nice. Plus, you know, that whole having metal is really good. Metal is one of the best class features in the game. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Hexblade. If you guys have anything you want to add, feel free to leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos like this, because as I said, I'm doing one on every single class, prestige class, and race in the game. So you don't want to miss out. Ring that notification bell to get those notifications, because YouTube's terrible about that. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you